It was interesting as I did some research on why European robins can migrate. Somehow, and it's complex, but they were able to know they were on the line. And it's just a felt sense. My life. Well, I loved school. I don't know about other people so much, but I loved it because I did all the theatrical stuff and all the musical stuff. We did Gilbert and Sullivan, and I was the lead singer in that and the players and various things. I had wonderful results at the end of year 12. I had scholarships to go to university, and when we were filling out these little cards at the end of school, it says, you know, name, address and things. And it said, what are you going to do? And all my friends are writing doctor and lawyer and teacher, which they all went off and did. And something took over my hand and I wrote actor. Well, all my friends looked over the thing and they said, well, of course. So I did. I went off to become an actor. At the same time, I wasn't allowed to just do what I want without earning some money. So I got a job working for EMI recording studios in Sydney. That was great, fascinating time, and I was acting at the same time as that. And then finally I landed a bit of work, and so I left EMI, went into acting. Did very well enough to be very satisfied. Soap operas, commercials, a few films, lots of radio. And this just sort of flowed along quite comfortably. I lived off acting really, I suppose, really for 20 years. But as I got into my 40s, it started to change. I bought a book and it really fascinated me. And it was all about the brain and how the brain processes language and how language is this thing that flows through the brain, and there's all this sort of deep structure, and I thought, oh, this is cool. I was fascinated by the way things were working. How is it that you can play characters? Where does it come from? What does it work? So that was a big change, because I thought I was so free and independent and acting and creative that my midlife crisis would be, you know, I wouldn't have this big change. My big change was I stopped acting and went into this learning. And again, it just seemed to make sense. Then I got really into it. I really got caught in the way the brain worked, the way people worked. So I enrolled in university, and this was the shift into being a serious person in neuroscience. Twice a year you'd go and you'd have a 4-day residential. And the last weekend, I sit down at the table for dinner. I sit next to a girl who's doing some other course, who turns around and says, "Did you go to St Ives High School?" And I went, "Yeah." I went to school with her. I kind of remembered her, but I think I fell in love with her within about an hour. We've been married 12 years now. I just feel I had this constant bouncing from point of support to point of support, despite the mistakes I made. There always seemed to be this pulling back towards something. It was interesting when I was researching about quantum theory, looking at this idea that the feelings that we have is activity that's occurring on the quantum level. It's more complex than you want to mention. But the real fascinating one was this European robin and how it was able to migrate. They found that it couldn't see what was going on, like some can do it by landmarks and some can do it by memory, some can do it by something. And somehow it followed the magnetic lines. It's the energetic process that occurs at the quantum level that gives this bird the felt sense that it's flying along the correct line. My life's like that. I know when I've been off, and I know when I've been on. And I'm kind of thinking now I'm on, and that's a good thing.